I've been living with the CLA-45 for 6 months, and it's a really interesting car. I've thoroughly enjoyed living with this car, and it's a great car. It's a strange car though, because there's so many things about it I really love, and there's quite a few things about it that I'm not so sure about, and I find a little bit irritating. But I mean, starting with the looks, I think it looks fantastic from the front. I think it looks great in profile. Just not convinced by the rear treatment at the back, where it looks like it's slightly melted as it tapers down at the rear. But you don't see very many on the road, and it does get a lot of attention. And I've had loads of comments from people saying, wow, that's a really cool car, and neighbours have commented on it when it's been on my drive. It's got that AMG look that people expect, and I don't think people are disappointed by the look of it. What they are surprised about is when you tell them it's got a 2-litre turbocharged engine, and that it's 4-wheel drive, that it's not a rear-wheel drive V8 car. I've got to say, there's no way I'm disappointed with the performance of the car, because with 355 horsepower and lots of grip, it really is a quick point-to-point road car, and it really is seriously quick. I found I've been using the gearbox all the time with the paddles in manual mode, just because it allows you to control the engine more. In fact, the only time I don't keep the car in manual mode on the gearbox is when I'm in town. Then I'll probably just leave it in the eco setting, let the stop-start work, and not bother with the paddles. But if I'm driving on the open road or anywhere else, even on the motorway, I tend to always use the paddles. And the gearbox is pretty good. The shift's pretty fast, and a nice blip on the downshift, so I've been quite impressed with the gearbox. We had a sports exhaust fitted to the car halfway through the time that we've had it, and that really does transform the car. It's quite a nice thing. So it gives you a really big sort of rasp on the upshift if you change at full revs, quite a crackle. It just adds an extra bit of character to the car. But what is good is it doesn't make the car too droney at 70 miles an hour. So if you're sitting on the motorway, there isn't a drone from the exhaust. So I quite like the sports exhaust. The other things I really like about the car, I love the cabin. I think the cabin's great. But we've got a lot of optional stuff on this car. So we've got the optional Alcantara steering wheel, even the metal paddles are optional. So everything that I like about the cabin, a lot of the things I really like are optional. But there's a definite sense of being in something quite upmarket every time you get in the cabin, and I think that's crucial when you own a Mercedes. You want it to feel special, and I think it does feel special. And overall, I think the car feels a lot more than just a souped up hot hatch with a coupe body. It does feel like you're getting a really quite serious AMG car. I can't get past the problem with the car is that with all the options on it, this car's edging towards the sort of money you'd spend on a Porsche Cayman. And the handling, although there's lots of grip, it just isn't that engaging. So it grips and it's really fast, but it's not a lot of engagement, and that's one of the negatives I've found with this car. So it's not perfect, but I do love it. Would I buy one? Would I recommend one? Well, again, yes, I would recommend it in certain areas, but there are some negatives. The biggest one, I think, is probably the ride quality. The ride is really firm, and you just have to get used to it. I've sort of got to the stage where I could put up with it, but it wasn't popular with passengers, this car. If I took my girlfriend out in it, always found the ride really uncomfortable as a passenger. So I think you have to put up with a firm ride if you decide to buy one of these cars. But it's time for it to go, and it's going back to Mercedes now. And overall, I'll be quite sad to see it go. I have really enjoyed living with the CLA-45, so quite sad to see it go. Click on the left-hand icon to find out what Matt Watson thought of his BMW 3 Series GT long-termer. Or for more AMG action, click on the right-hand icon to watch our unique video with the Mercedes S63 AMG. And don't forget to click on the Auto Express icon to subscribe to our channel.